Hello and welcome to i-nastava. Today's English class is for the 4th year. The topic of the lesson is, are we on the same page here? My name is Stephanie Kate Lukač and I'll be your teacher for the day. By the end of the class, you will have designed an infographic. For the lesson, you're going to need your notebook, something to write with, a device with internet connection, for example, a cell phone, laptop, whatever, and a QR code scanner. Feel free to pause the video anytime you need. To start lightly, let's go over some of the terms you've used within this past unit. You've seen the Walk of Fame, which is a sidewalk in Hollywood with stars of famous people's names on them. Some people feel that success means wealth. However, that may not always be the case. For me personally, being wealthy or influential has nothing to do with being successful. But we all have our priorities and beliefs. Keeping things real doesn't always happen in reality shows, although it may seem like they are. Lastly, the term influencer obviously comes from the base influence. For example, to have an influence over someone. Since these are such hot topics among young people, I'm sure it has been an interesting unit. For your first task, please pause the video in order to write these names down in a chart in your notebooks. Your 3 columns need to have the names that you see on the screen, the reason each person is against plastic surgery, and finally, what they do to stay young. Now, for the last column, not all of these women will mention anything. If that's the case, then write down NM or not mentioned. Once you've created your chart, you'll then either use the QR code or the link on the screen to open the video to watch. Good luck! If necessary, pause the video in order to check over your answers. I've taken notes here, and you may not have the exact wording as I've written here, but if you've got the gist of it, that's the main thing. Most of these women have nothing against getting wrinkles or the process of aging. In fact, many of them feel like it's a natural part of getting older and aren't concerned with it. Some fear plastic surgery or the way they would look after getting it. As for how they stay young, nothing was mentioned in the videos for many of the actresses. But as you could see and hear, for the most part, various creams and forms of exercise are the key to their youth. Let's hope we look as fabulous as they do when we're their age. The final question in the video was, what's your attitude towards plastic surgery? So, I'd like you to make a short recording with your answer for about a minute. Be sure to take notes before making the recording and sending it to your teacher. Are you for it or against it? Perhaps you don't have a specific stance on the matter. What are your reasons for this opinion? Would you have it done? Why or why not? What would you have done? That kind of thing. Feel free to pause the video as you get to this task. With this QR code or link, you'll read an article about a Canadian Croatian influencer. As you go through, you'll come across blank spaces in which you need to choose which preposition goes into the blank. Scroll down to the end and the options will be there from A to D. Even if you're not sure, pick one. You might have chosen correctly. Please pause the video in order to go through the task. You'll be able to check your answers in a little bit. With this QR code or link, check over your answers to see how you've done. If you still need more help or practice, talk to your teacher about ways you can improve. Remember, you can't always translate directly from Croatian to English when it comes to prepositions. Trust me, I used to make the same mistake when going from English to Croatian, and I had some funny situations after that. With your next task, you've got two links or QR codes to open. The first one will open an article for you to read through about the most famous YouTubers of 2021. The second one will open a quiz for you to go through, answering true or false for each statement. You'll be able to see how many you got correct as you go along. Feel free to pause the video in order to go through it. Good luck! Before I start playing the recording for your listening task, please pause the video so you can copy the questions into your notebooks. Once you've done this, unpause to hear the recording and answer the questions with true or false. If necessary, go back to the beginning of the recording and play it a second time. Good luck!
I absolutely loved my time on Big Brother. In the beginning, it was a bit of a challenge because we all came from different parts of the country and have very different personalities. While I'm outgoing and sociable, Julie, on the other hand, is shy and reserved. But we became good friends really quickly. Some of the other contestants were very dominant people, so they tended to butt heads in order to obtain some type of control. I chose not to get in the middle of it and got along with most of the group. Our tasks that we were given were mostly fun, and I took it as part of the game that we had to play in order to stay in the house. The men, however, became really competitive and took any loss to heart. Some of them even got into heated arguments because they felt the team lost because of the weaker players. As I had stayed on the show for a longer period of time, I realized that it wasn't reality TV as they like to put it. Many of us got called aside by the producers and were given instructions as to how we were to react or talk for the next episode. That wasn't really my cup of tea. But Brad really got into his role that he had to play as the tough guy with a few girls on the side. There's your so called reality in reality TV. Because I didn't really follow directions, I got caught off before the finals took place. In any case, I really enjoyed my time as part of the cast and wouldn't change anything. Julie and I are still great friends even to this day.
Here you can check your work to see if you need to sharpen your listening skills. Anita did have some difficulties in the beginning. Some of the people she lived with throughout the show did argue a lot. She liked the games they had to do, but the women weren't the competitive ones. It was the men. Anita was pulled off to the side and told what to say and do by the producers. That's why Big Brother does not show reality. And finally, Anita and Julie are still great friends. Well, how did you do? For your final task, open the link or use the QR code to read through an article about famous Croatians around the world. You need to choose one person. There are so many to choose from, so if it's a problem, talk to your teacher about perhaps assigning the Croats to the students. Once you've chosen, you're going to research information about him or her, and using this information, create an infographic. Don't pause the video just yet, because the checklist will help you with what you have to do. Before you sign off, take a look at the checklist to ensure you do the best job possible. Have you accurately and clearly displayed the information in the infographic? Have you summarized the information in your own words? Have you designed the infographic paying attention to colors, fonts, that type of thing? Have you checked for grammatical and spelling errors? Have you added photos paying attention to copyright? Those are things that you need to watch out for. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson, and remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of yourself.